to my channel, and welcome if you're new. I'm Giuliabuilds here, and today we are going to do another speed build because by the time it's not a news that I only practically do speed builds, and actually I wasn't planning on doing this one, but lately I built so many huge houses that yeah, I got a bit sick about it, and so I wanted to build a tiny home. And precisely according to Tiny Living, this one is a micro home. Indeed, this stays within the 32 tiles count. And well, actually it's not entirely true, as I cheated a bit, because technically it's more than 32 tiles, but I wanted this to be a two-floor houses. A two-floor house, yeah, English is going great also today, because you have more perks if it is a micro home. And so yeah, that's what I did, and as you can see I had to struggle a lot to, you know, make it 32 tiles, but eventually I made it, let's say. And I have also to mention the sim stream, because the idea of how to remove the walls underneath the roofs is theirs, and practically you just place the island living door on the roof's wall, and then you shrink it down and raise it up, and in this way I was able to hide it in the walls upstairs, and in this way I obtained this kind of more modern look for the house. And as you can see now, the shape is practically almost done, but in the end both the roof downstairs and the roof upstairs will be more rounded, because I wanted this house to look more like a wave and that's why it's called the wave, you know, Captain Obvious here. And but let's talk about eco lifestyle, because the new trailer for the new expansion pack of The Sims 4 came out yesterday, as today is Wednesday when I'm recording, Thursday, yeah, when I'm recording this one, and yesterday the new trailer came out. And so yeah, I want to know your thoughts about it. What do you think? Are you excited? I can personally say I'm always happy and excited when we get new content, and yeah, so I'd say I'm happy to get new build and buy items. So far from what I've seen, they look really cool. Yeah, I don't know which style they could belong to, but overall I like their look. And about the gameplay, I don't know, maybe there can be some interesting features, such as the candle making station, and also the fact that you can turn the world into a beautiful green clear world, or you can let it be like an apocalypse world or whatever, according to the style of gameplay that you enjoy doing the most. But for me as a builder, you know, gameplay comes in a second place, let's say, because I rarely have time to actually sit and play the game. But here, as you can see, we're moving on to the interior. This time I decided to do the interior first, because with tiny houses I want to make sure I am able to fit everything I want to. And so yeah, that's what I did. It's kind of an open space house. There aren't walls dividing anything except from the bathroom, which is that 3x1 rectangle you have just seen. And I imagine this house to be of a male sim, a generic male sim. I mean, an independent guy, really modern, really cool. And yeah, because there is only single bed in this house, so yeah, only one sim. I really tried to fit to a double bed, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. And sorry if you hear some noises, but my cat, as always, wants to participate in my voiceovers. Thank you, Kirara, you're really sweet. Yeah, so don't mind the mess. As always, I don't have time to record again, so yeah. But as you can see, the kitchen is practically done. I only have to clutter it, but as I told you, at first I wanted to place all the items to be sure they would be functional and they would fit in the style and in the way that I wanted to. And obviously everything is play-tested, everything works. And as you can see, I was able to include actually a lot of things. There is also a television that is going to go on that white table that you are seeing now, the tiny living one. Yeah, and another thing I actually forgot to mention, but I think it's quite important to say, is that I tried to use as less specs as possible. And indeed, in this house there are only obviously the base game, Island Living, Spa Day, Moschino and Tiny Living, if I'm not mistaken. These should be all the packs I've used, so it's kind of more toned down in respect of everything, every other house I do, which is full of other packs. As you can see now, I'm doing the living room, if we can call it this way. It's a really tight space. There is only a love seat and a television there. And then I'm going to add the tiny living rug, which I love a lot. Here it is. And then we're moving on to the upstairs, and as you can see, there are objects already, because there I tried to place the double bed, but unfortunately my playtesting sim, which is my sim self, wasn't able to reach the bed, and so I had to switch for a single bed. But as you can see, I created a desk, a floating desk, using a shelf. It's a base game shelf. You can enlarge it, and then you can place an island counter behind it. You can shrink it down and hide it, as I did, and then your sim will be able to use the PC that I placed. Technically it's placed on the island counter, but it sits on the shelf, and so it looks like it's right there. And now I'm off decorating the tiny balcony that your sim can reach by the bedroom, by passing through the bedroom. I wasn't sure about what to do on this balcony, and so I just placed there a tiny patio table, a barbecue and a planter, yeah, and I guess some flowers, as you're going to see right now. These flowers are amongst my favorites because if you place them one close to the other, they snap perfectly and they don't glitch like a lot of things in the game do, actually, which is annoying. Now I'm off to the landscaping. I was really struggling with this because actually I didn't know what to do. I'd say I'm pretty good in landscaping when it comes to more natural landscape, yeah, and like when it's not manicured, when nature is free to grow however it wants. But here in the desert, actually, I struggled, yeah. And so I decided to build a pond also here. By the time it's something I put in every single one of my builds, so it shouldn't come as a surprise. This one is an island living debug object, and it's really a beautiful waterfall. The only issue for me is that sometimes it's too big and it's not possible to size it down, so yeah, you have to have room for it. And in this case I used a lot of debug rocks to create a more natural kind of landscaping. And yeah, practically this landscaping, it's nothing special. I mean, I just used a lot of rocks, and then suddenly I realized I didn't have a way for your sim to get to the place. And so yeah, I had to add this pathway in between the pools. If I could have done it, I would have built the house on the second floor as I always do, because by doing this little trick I could have built bridge without the need to destroy the pool, let's say. But this time, unfortunately, I couldn't do it because otherwise the tile count would have skyrocketed, and that's not what I wanted actually. So yeah, that's what I had to do. And actually I kind of like how it looks, because in the end I'm going to surround that pathway with a lot of rocks, and so it looks more natural. And obviously the pools or ponds, or however you want to call them, will be completely surrounded as well. Also, I placed some fishing signs. They will be hidden inside of these rocks, so you're not going to see them, but in this way you will see fishes actually swimming in the pond, which is something realistic and that I love to add in all of my builds, more or less. As you can see, I am using both objects from debug and rocks from the regular catalog. And about the rest of the landscaping, it's nothing special, as I told you. I'm using some trees, still from debug. I also like, when I landscape, to look around and to check out the environment around the lot is, and so I can use plants or trees or whatever that is similar to the actual landscaping I see around the lot. And in this case it was all rocky. Obviously we are in the desert, so yeah, nothing surprising there. And yeah, I'm continuing getting rocks and rocks and rocks. Maybe it would be weird when you're seeing walks, because as debug objects they're not counted as objects, and so you're seeing a walk in them. And now, as you can see, I'm adding more greenery in the pools or ponds, or however you want to call them, and I'm just finishing up the landscaping of this house. And yeah, I guess that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. I would be glad if you do. Also leave me feedbacks, as I love to read your comments and I love to improve. Thank you all for your support, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye everyone!